see. Okay, we're recording.
Okay, so first of all, I want to introduce my principal, Dr. Corey O'Neill, and our building tech coordinator and librarian and media specialist, Ms. Jamie Jack. And thank
And
y'all
Beta
both for
Club director and everything else.
thank you so much for doing this interview. I appreciate it. So I'm just going to go right with the first question. So this one is specifically for you, Dr. O'Neill. It says, as the principal, what do you feel is your role in completing the eProve and the continuous improvement plan?
Well, first of all, my role is to be the main facilitator. Of course, I have input being the instructional leader of the school because that's my main one of my main roles as principal, to be the instructional leader. But I'm the facilitator in making sure that we get the continuous improvement plan completed. And in getting that plan completed, I am the facilitator between the the instructional or the our building, help me out here, our building committee. And that committee is comprised of the principal, the counselor, the librarian, um, my instructional support specialist, which is Karen Davis. She's our data person, and then our team leaders. And so I just mainly make sure that team is following their roles, and we are gathering the information to put our plan together. Um, and you have to make sure that you utilize your team and let them work. And I'm very transparent. You all know how I am. A lot of years past, me and maybe one other person, we completed the plan, the continuous improvement plan for the building, because it was just easier for us to get the information that we needed to formulate our continuous improvement plan, and then we got it out there. But that's something that we're trying to shy away from, and let our leadership team, that I don't know why that word escaped me, but let the leadership team get the plan together.
Okay. This next question is for you, Ms. Jack. It says, as building tech coordinator, what do you feel is your role in completing the technology plan for our school?
Okay. Like Dr. O'Neill, once again, I'm really more of a facilitator. We have a technology team at our school. It is me. We have 3 other teachers and then Dr. O'Neill. And we meet and we make our decisions about our plan. But I do bring in information. We have 8 schools in our system, as you know, and we have a overall school system technology coordinator, Mr. Black, and we meet with him and we discuss the different aspects of what school tech plans need to have and what works in certain schools and what Mr. Black is looking for and that sort of thing. And I'm kind of a go-between, and I'll bring that information back to our team to help us make our decisions.
Okay. So this one is for both of y'all. It says, how do you think your positions influence school-wide student achievement? And so I can let Dr. O'Neill go ahead and hit on that first, and then we'll come back.
Okay, my position as in influencing school-wide achievement is, we have our beginning of the year global scholar testing with math and reading. We used to do science until we lost the testing component in 7th grade for science, so we don't focus on that as much as we should anymore. But my influence is really to look at the data, sit down with my instructional support specialist, and then get our ideas of how we think and achievement should look for the upcoming year. And we also not only look at their beginning of the year testing, but we also get from the previous school their end of the year testing results, and we compare those, and then we see how student achievement needs to be guided, or our plan for instruction needs to be guided, or how it needs to be guided, and that's going to overall affect the student achievement. And I hope I answered that the way you needed me to.
Okay. What about you, Ms. Jack?
What role
Um,
does technology play in student achievement?
Okay, well, as a building tech person, one of my roles is to help our teachers integrate technology into their instruction. And I feel that being able to provide the resources and also as well as encouragement and a lot of times I will just help teachers I'll be like an extra person when they try out a new tech tool or something. And I feel that that's important, as well as helping those students, being there to as their, because now, and that's, you may talk about this a little bit later, you know, how technology has evolved a lot. Now it's so much, it used to be more, you know, okay, the teacher uses the piece of technology, but now it's so much more the students learning to use these pieces of technology, because they're going to need them. I mean, they're going to need them in the future, not just in school, but of course in the workforce. And I think helping them to be able to achieve the things they need to do with these pieces of technology, that's a big role that I feel that I play.
Awesome. Okay, so this is also for both of y'all. It says, how do you feel as leaders that you determine priorities across the school so that the school's vision and mission statement are accomplished?
Well, I have to look at all areas to prioritize. I not only look at instruction, I have to look at safety. I have to look at discipline, um, a whole gamut of things I have to look at um, to make sure that things are accomplished. So we try to, I always have to start with instruction, and I say instruction because we start by way of scheduling and look at those needs there. We look at special education needs because we've had our previous or our end of the year IEP meetings. I have to look at 504, have to look at EL, then we have to look at scheduling. So I prioritize first by looking at the academic side and scheduling, and then I prioritize from there.
This one is a little bit more difficult for me, but I try to think about it. And I guess you could say one of my biggest things is staying up to date on what the new technology tools and focuses are going on in schools right now. I have a lot of resources that I use. A lot of it right now, to be truthful, is professional learning communities. Those are really, really good for technology people to be involved in. I'm involved in the Alabama Leaders of Educational Technology. I keep up with a lot of what they're going through, and that'll help me prioritize things that I want to suggest to our teachers. But another thing is I just really look and see what are our teachers telling me about, because like, for instance, Miss Williams, a lot of times she'll send me a message and say, hey, Miss Jack, have you seen this? Do you know anything about it? Does this work? And so I think that what they suggest is very important, and I try to check that out and see how we can use that in our school for our students.
And then if I can piggyback off of you with Miss Jack, technology changes so rapidly, and there's so many ideas out there. So she does a great job in prioritizing what she thinks is best or what's going to work best for our building. So she does a great job with that.
And that actually flows right into the next question, which is, how do you both think that the roles of technology and comprehensive improvement have evolved since you first entered in education?
Oh gosh, with me, technology is such a huge piece now because our kids are so technology driven. You know, that's all they do. A lot of them is use a lot of technology. We've gotten away from a lot of the textbooks. Departments don't even issue textbooks, like the language arts department. Miss Williams, you all didn't even issue textbooks. Our math people, they don't issue textbooks. We do appearance request that, but everything is so technology driven, and so that piece to the improvement plan has really become a huge important piece. You know, data has always been a huge piece of it. and you're supposed to be data driven with everything that you do, but the technology piece has become very huge.
I just finished my 15th year in education, and thinking about this, goodness gracious, it went from what did teachers use? I had a desktop. At one point, I had a laptop and a projector. The students, they had almost nothing. We had one computer lab when I started for 600 kids. You very seldom got in there. It has changed so much now. The teachers, like Dr. O'Neill said, are resources. We don't have to just use that textbook anymore. We have resources everywhere. They're so plentiful and good resources. But of course, with that, there are some that aren't always so good. So we have to be real careful about what we're, using for our kids. But it's just so great to have those options out there. And then I think one of the biggest changes, like I said, is now the students, now that we have enough Chromebooks that every kid has one in every class during the day, it is fabulous the things that students and teachers can do. And it's just more, how to put it, it's more, the kids have these opportunities to create things using technology that's going to help prepare them more for future careers.
Okay, so the next one says, how is your role and responsibility similar, or how is it different across the school level as far as elementary versus middle?
My role and responsibility is different, not only because I'm dealing with a different age group, but as far as the elementary piece, we don't deal with a lot of title programs, and so my roles and responsibilities totally different there. So I have to look at other ways to provide intervention services for our students. So that role is totally different, and I think it's a pattern or a path that leads up to high school with my role. But as far as elementary, it's totally different.
As you know, each one of our schools in our district, all 8 schools, we all have a building technology person. Our roles are they have similarities in each school, but then the different levels, they are a little bit different. Several of the technology coordinators are classroom teachers, and they just don't have as much time during the day to focus on some of the technology issues. Myself and one other, the 5th and 6th grade technology coordinator, we're both media specialists. We have a little bit more time, but still it's different. The high school level, very different. Their building technology coordinator, that's her position. That's all she does. And yes, she has a lot of students, and I feel that position is very needed there, but it's different because that's her sole focus is technology, helping with devices, helping teachers integrate the technology. So she does have a lot more time. In an ideal world, it would be fabulous if every single school had their own technology coordinator to really focus on these things. But of course, money wise, we do not have that. So we just do the best that we can with what we have.
Okay. So the next question is, what kind of changes do you see as needing to be made in order to have a greater impact on student achievement?
You want me to start, Dr. O'Neill?
I'll let you start with that one because
Okay, I have
mine's
one.
going to be a more common sense approach.
Okay. The one that I have that when I think of technology, something that I really think is needed, and I think that it's something that our system-wide technology coordinator, Mr. Black, is working on. I really feel that our kids have got to have a better basis and skills when it comes to using all this technology that they're using today. And we had a Zoom meeting toward the end of the school year, and we talked a little bit about that. We have a technology integration specialist for the system who's working on putting together some sort of digital citizenship plan to help teachers. Right now, it's just, this person may teach this little aspect of digital citizenship, and this person may throw this in. It's really hard to get everybody on track to make sure that all these very, very important concepts are covered because these kids need these. And I think that when we have a more comprehensive plan that is more thought out and planned out better for our system, I think that's really going to help our kids. I think it's going to, because I know I'm kind of thinking, I'm not necessarily movement, but it's also just going to affect their health as well. I think their mental health too when it comes to using technology.
One thing that I think is going to be very helpful um, for positive or and great impact on student achievement once they get to seventh grade is making sure that students have their skills, the necessary skills. They have met those standards and they have those necessary skills before being promoted. Because what I'm seeing is we are getting a lot of students who don't have those foundational skills that can help them be very successful as they progress throughout the grades. They don't have them, but we're promoting them um, to the next grade level. One example that I want to use, a lady called Yolanda, and Yolanda, my wife, she's a tutor and she's also an assistant principal, but she said, how should she feel about her child being retained? Well, my wife has previously tutored this kid, so she felt like the student really did not have the necessary skills to be promoted. So she felt like the best plan for the kid would be to keep them in third grade and let them make sure that they have those foundational skills. Then they're ready for fourth grade. But you have parents, they don't want their kids retained, they want them promoted. And then there are also those classroom teachers, they don't want to hold them back because they're going to have to probably see them again. And I'm going to tell you, we have administrators out there, they promote because they don't want to have flack from the parents. But we're really doing our students a disservice and just continuing to promote when they don't have the math skills. They're not on the right reading level. And you all know as good and well, we have kids in seventh grade, they're on a fourth grade reading level, and they're not even in special education. We're talking about our regular ed kids. So it's a struggle for them, and then it's a struggle for our teachers to to teach their curriculum and teach all of those standards, but yet you've got to go back and you've got to provide intervention. So I think a great impact for student achievement is going to make sure that our grade levels, that they're making sure that their students have those skills before we promote them.
Fantastic. All right. This is the last question, guys, and I really appreciate it. It says, how does your position impact or influence the decision making of other system leaders, like other principals, the superintendent, or even the school board?
Well, my impact or decision making to impact whatever for the system, we all come together as a team and we talk about it, and then we try to come to a compromise on a lot of decisions. I will go to the superintendent and talk to him about certain specific needs or building level needs that as far as that affects me or what my wants may be for Durand South. But when it comes to system wide, we talk about it as administrators and directors, and then we try to formulate the best plan that's going to be for the system.
Okay, I looked at this and thought about it, and I don't know necessarily system wide, but it's more of a school level for me. But I know that I've had a lot of suggestions, and I just go straight to Dr. O'Neill, our principal, and he always listens. That doesn't mean that we can always do what I want to do, but most of the time, if he's able, he's going to try his best. He's very, very supportive when it comes to technology. I remember starting trying to make some changes in the school news program. That took money. It took to make some different changes in the way we did things, but he was so supportive in that. And I love that I don't have to be afraid to take any kind of suggestions or anything that improvements or anything that I see that we need technology wise. I know I can always take them to him.
And so Katie is going to be really a team level approach that you need to make. when we're talking about decision making, it's a team level approach that we take.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have, and y'all have been awesome, and I appreciate it so much taking the time to do this interview for me. So, Dr. O'Neill, if you can just get that to me, it'll probably be a pretty large file, but we'll figure out how to get it uploaded and everything. And again, thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Katie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.